I sent it to people.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I knew you were saying. I don't know what the hell you were saying.
Yeah, I do a little something. Just a little something. It ain't much.
Nobody likes you, man.
See, why you gotta hate, bro? Why
Hello
you gotta hate?
there.
Yo, hate
What's
now.
up, man? What's going on?
Good. How are you?
All right, can everybody hear each other?
I can.
Hey, Charmaine.
Hello,
Hey,
boo.
man.
What's going on, girl?
Hey, TGIF.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
You get it to the light.
Walk into the light.
Well, no, not that way.
I know, right?
Not yet.
You say you trying to
Not yet.
find the light.
I'm good on that one right now.
You say you trying to find the light.
Nah, not that light. Not right now. Once I get old and gray hair like Lynn, then I can.
I'm old. It's gray hairs. Don't you just say?
Oh my God.
Ooh, the ain't no gray right here, baby. You see this?
John, you got to walk a whole lot of streets to get the kind of gray hair Lynn got.
Oh my God.
But you want baby? Well, no, Lynn did a good job with the hair. That's why you can't see the gray hair. All that weave on top of it.
Oh my God.
This is I paid for this. This is mine, okay? I paid for it. This is mine, boo. Okay? It's all mine, baby.
Oh no, we didn't say it wasn't yours.
Oh my God. I
It is because that does become your product.
Shut your ass up, Jerron.
I miss you, Lynn. I can't wait to crack on this.
Oh my God. I
miss you too, Jerron. Always, baby, always.
Right.
Y'all finished with all that?
I see that we are on record.
Y'all finished?
Yep.
Travis, don't be jealous of me and Jerron love, okay? Don't be jealous, boo. Don't do that.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
My goodness, I'm so jealous. I can't picture myself. All right, everybody good? Everybody having a good day?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
TGIF, a long day.
Yeah, I was out in front early.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Very productive.
Yeah.
Well, we'll go ahead and get this thing started out now that Jerron and Lynn has finished doing the kissy face.
Oh my God.
I'd like to welcome everybody to the very first episode of the Reset. I'm your host, Travis Thomas, aka Last Revelation. We have Lynn, aka Adrenaline. We got my brother and co-host, Jerron Williams, aka Son Williams, the MF and Great.
Yeah.
Charmaine Clark, aka Shar. And
hello.
Lynn is actually going to give us today's topic.
Okay.
And we're going to take it from there. Lynn, what you got for us today?
Huh?
See what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? Black folk.
Wow, you had one job.
Oh my God.
Okay, all right. So guys, today's topic is going to be a very interesting topic. I know I can talk about it. Lord have mercy. We're going to talk about toxic relationships. Okay?
That's so deflating.
Amen. All right, honey.
That's deflating. So give me some insight.
It is. When it's toxic, it's definitely deflating.
Okay.
It is deflating of emotions. You can't really see your way clear to, whatever goal is in mind because you're so wrapped up in the toxicity of the relationship. Well, I won't even call it a relationship if it's
what makes the relationship toxic? Like what makes it quote unquote toxic?
I think I can answer that.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I've never been in a toxic relationship. Well, maybe my early 20s, that was a toxic relationship, but a lot of arguing, a lot of fighting. Definitely a lot of fighting. So that's what I would call toxic, very toxic relationship where it's just draining, emotionally deflating. Like, the breakup to makeup, to me, that's toxic. If the only time you can have good relations is if you have a argument, then that's toxic.
And I think mostly because, I mean, it depends. I guess it all depends. I mean, your relationship, everybody has different stages of their relationship. Everybody has different relationships. Some people look at toxic relationships as normal. So what may not be normal to some people may be normal to them. So they could be arguing, fussing, and fighting, but that could be an everyday occurrence. And to them,
that's deflating.
That's fine. But I think it goes with, and my brother would always tell me this, I think it's resentment. I think that if you got an issue in your relationship and it never been solved, and you keep going on as every day like normal, because the issue has never been solved, and you guys never talked about it, it's still going to be there. And you're always going to think every time you see that person, okay, this person did this to me, or this person did that. This person didn't tell me the truth about this one thing I asked them. Okay,
that's true.
And they check off and men do this too. Men and women do this too. We check off each and every issue we have, especially once you live together. I don't know if we're talking about living together, marriage, or however, but relationships, period. I think we check off little itsy bitsy parts of each other, and whatever we don't like, we go, okay, I don't like this, but let's see where it goes. Okay, I don't like this, we'll see this go. And it starts to build up. And once it starts to build up and none of these things have been taken care of, it can become a toxic relationship.
Yeah, but you have a choice to leave.
No. You do have a choice to leave, Charmaine, but at the same time, I think you're in a relationship to make it work. So
So what extent though?
Well, it doesn't reach God level toxic, until them in a relationship. So when it's all take no give, like lack of trust, Jerron before, all the time, like, hey, commitment in a relationship will murder a relationship. Across the room,
that's true. At
this person that does nothing to help you move and do everything they can to stop you from moving forward. I mean, that's a hard pill to swallow. That's
it is.
That's very hard. Lynn, what do you think? What do you think a toxic relationship consists of?
I think a toxic relationship consists of a lot of taking, and not giving. So when I say
taking of what though?
Like, okay, when I say taking and not giving, you can take their. It's just like you were saying, Charmaine, like a drain, like this drain. It's like an aura almost. Like when you start talking to him, I mean, it's just like a sense of something just comes over, you know what I'm saying? So, like when let's say like you're in a toxic relationship, and then you have another friend that you just talk to, y'all hang out or whatever, like just a friend. You know what I'm saying? Like different women bring out different traits in men. So So if you're toxic and the relationship is toxic, he's going to act a completely different way with them versus you. So this toxic is just, I don't know, it's just like, it's exhausting to love you.
It's very exhausting.
You know what I'm saying? It's hard to love you. It's hard to be in the same situation, the same room with you.
But that's when the hard decisions.
You know what I'm saying?
That's where the hard decisions come in at, whether you're going to stay in that toxic. It's because it's going to get to that point at some point in time. Everybody's level of, accepting whatever toxic is different. Maybe you accept more than what I would, and vice versa. You get what I'm saying? Everybody's level of accepting, is different. So I guess it just depends on the person.
Well, Charmaine, I think, I ain't trying to interrupt you, man, but I think it's easy to say what you will put up with, what you want when until you're actually in it. We can always tell people, well, I would do this if I were you. You don't know what you would do until you're in that situation, so that's how you don't know what will you do or where you will do or how you would do it until you're put in that situation. I think that's the problem. I think a lot of times I can leave. Relationships aren't built based off I can leave.
Right.
It's based off let's try to work it out and be a partner and work together. But you can't do it by yourself.
Well, to back up what Jerron is saying, to me, it sounded like the relationship was just one-sided. When y'all guys talk about toxic relationships, it's like, hey, I feel drained, I have a problem,
Yep.
Like, yeah, that's what I get from toxic.
But it goes, toxic relationship works both ways. So if it's not both ways, then the relationship is not toxic. The relationship is abusive. So in order for the relationship to be toxic, it has to be two parties.
I agree.
And that's just my opinion. It has to be two parties involved. So even though this one person is doing this, the other person is doing something too. So now you're trying to figure out who's going to be the petty queen and the petty king.
Yeah.
That's what makes a relationship toxic. Yeah. Ain't that right?
Well, that's childish.
Miss Petty Queen herself.
I am not
everything.
I think that's childish, being a toxic and being picky, and that's just me.
Do you think that toxicity come with like lack of trust? What creates a hostile relationship? When you're talking about a toxic relationship, what makes things hostile? How do things become, like I say, godlike, hostile, when you could have probably said something off the bat? I mean, hey, look, I don't like you that you did that. Especially after the second time, you might let it go the first time around, but after the second time, you might say, we can't do this, we can't do that. And I think the signs are there, and I think in every relationship the signs are there. You just don't see them.
That's true, but that's what it goes back. You're going to have to see what you as that person will allow, and and what you won't allow, and if you're going to put up with or accept, because we all have flaws. No one is perfect.
Right.
Not all of us.
You have to ask yourself, can I deal with the flaws? You get what I'm saying? Can I deal with whatever? You get what I'm saying? If you like toxic, if you can deal with that, hey, go with it, because everything is a decision at the end of the day.
So let me ask you a question. Okay, based off that, let's say you was with a guy for 50 years, y'all.
How long? 50?
50 years.
I don't know about it.
Just hear me out. 50 years.
Okay.
Based off what you said, you've been with a guy for 50 years. You find out he cheated back in the early days of y'all were dating, and he tells you then. What would you leave, or would you just be like, well, I've been with this guy for so long, what would I, how would you feel?
Well, it would depend on where we at that particular time,
okay.
And how the marriage, because if I'm doing my 50 years, of course it'll be married at that point. And how the marriage has gone from, over the years.
Right.
Because I believe if it's more good than bad, then of course, it can work. I always believe in the pros and cons, and sometimes, you have to reflect, and sometimes you have to write it down, like what the good you see in this person, what the bad that you don't like. And I always say if the pros outweighs the cons, then hey, it can work.
Okay.
But it definitely it takes two. It definitely takes two. It can't be one-sided. It has to be a partnership. Both of y'all are in it for the long haul, and you want to put that work in. It can't be one-sided. And listen, I mean, hey, if he did whatever, guess what? Those are his demons. He have to deal with it, That's just where I am at. Like, I'm not I'm not going to try to babysit you. And that's what you got to deal with at the end of the day. You have to deal with that. And if you comfortable doing whatever, hey, you got to deal with that at some point.
Yeah.
And that's just my take on it. Even when I go into a relationship, I'm not trying to monitor you and just what you do is listen, I'm gonna respect you, I'm gonna do my part, and I will expect the same in return. But if you don't do that, hey, that's your demon you got to deal with.
Right.
You're not gonna
you can't say, Well, I guess you can say that. Hey, these are things you have to deal with, but those are things that you're also dealing with if you choose to be with this particular person.
That's right.
So I mean,
Exactly.
he has to deal with the situation with him doing whatever he did, but you have to deal with the situation of him cheating or whatever, whether it becomes the infidelity or what happens.
And I will deal with that accordingly. I would.
Hold a minute. What that mean?
It depends on
accordingly.
Exactly. Accordingly.
Yeah, that's I want to know what that means too, Jerome. What's that
right?
Yeah, I would deal with accordingly based on the situation.
Hold a minute.
So if you gotta chop him in his neck or chop his nut, just chop his nuts off. I mean, gotta do what you gotta do.
No violence. It won't be no violence on my part because guess what? That's not even worth it. I'm worth more than stabbing some man or whatever to go to jail.
Oh my, ain't nobody saying nothing about no knives, Charmaine. What you talking about?
No,
damn, Liz.
Listen, stopping me in the
It's real around here.
We already know Lynn ain't got no damn sense.
Yeah. We expect Lynn.
We talking about Charmaine.
We expect Lynn to do that.
Yeah.
It's real around here, all right? It's real.
I get it.
So what are some examples, anybody can answer this particular question here, but what are some examples of things that you've done to try to relieve a toxic relationship? And what are some examples of things you did to inflame that toxic relationship?
Inflame.
Wow. Inflame. It's been so
I know that's a big word for you, Lynn. Hold on. Let me break it down in Lynn terms. Let me break that down.
So bullshit.
Oh my God.
What did you do to inflame the situation? What did you do?
Well, I'm not gonna say I did this in particular, but let's say if you're in a toxic relationship and someone has cheated, right, within a relationship. So to inflame it, you might blatantly cheat back. You know what I'm saying? Just like that. Now, I'm not saying I would do that, but I'm saying that would inflame the situation. You know what I'm saying?
How did that solve anything?
I mean, it would probably, now I'm not saying this is me, but I'm not saying if you were to cheat back, it would probably make someone feel better. You know what I'm saying? Like, gotcha, bitch. You know what I'm saying? It would kind of, kind of be like, hey, we even, you know what I'm saying? So whatever. But at the end of the day, even in a situation like that, two wrongs don't it
right. Exactly.
It really won't fix anything, you know what I'm saying? Because y'all still gonna be miserable, y'all still gonna be feeling a certain type of way.
Yeah.
But the best thing to do is to leave. And the worst thing you can do to somebody after a relationship is ended is go on and be successful. Ooh, they can't stand it. You post pictures of you smiling, cheesing, all happy. Ooh, they just hate that shit.
Hey, I'm a testament. That is facts.
Ron, what do you think about that? Because they didn't answer.
You're right.
They didn't answer none of the damn questions. They went straight to the evil part.
Yeah.
I did not say anything.
I think that, I told you real around here, cuz. You know what I'm saying?
I think that I don't know. I think that what I did to inflame it, I guess in the past, me and my ex-girlfriend would do a breakup, get back together, break up, get back together, break up, knowing damn well this ain't gonna last at all. But just doing it just to try to. I think the biggest problem, this is what I realized about me. I think the biggest problem is when you get used to a person, you just get used to everything. And so it's kind of hard to it's easy to say I can leave, but when you're used to somebody for so long,
you're attached.
So you become attached. And it's kind of hard.
That's not a reason to stay.
Look past the step of being by yourself.
That's so true.
But that is not a reason to stay. That is not.
No, exactly.
I thought that's what I dealt with.
Yeah,
I dealt with. And so it's not a reason to stay, but a lot of people do stay because of that.
That's true.
Of that reason, because the fear of, this is the best I can do.
Well, it's convenient, man.
Convenient.
Yeah, I think it's just convenience. You know, you'll still go out and do what you do. You're gonna go out and do what you do. But you always come home because it's just the most convenient thing to do. Hey, we have a couple bills. You know, we can take care of that, but we just gonna go our separate way. You know, so
that's true.
Yeah, I think that's the main issue. So, how do you think how do you think you would fix a toxic relationship?
It has to take both people willing to do it. If one person's not willing to do it, and I would understand if a person steps out and do something and the person don't want the will to do it, that's fine. That's all well and good. You know, that's like what Charmaine said, you know, you have to deal with that. That's part of dealing with that. Hey, if this person don't want to deal with it afterwards, you gotta own up to it and take it at the chest. You know, but if you're willing to do it, both people have to have a will to do it. I can't make you do it and you can't make me do it. And you have to both be on the same mindset and level. Hey, if it's worth to y'all, if it's worth it to keep the relationship, you have to do whatever you can do beyond what the person did to you. And if that's what you want to do. And you have to look past that to do it.
And then maybe something that I would do to make a toxic relationship if I wanted to stay in it, you know, if that was even a choice.
Look at it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But you have to make new memories, because right now it's a memory of the bad and what's not good. So we have to make new memories together. Like we have to change, just like you were saying, Jerron, it has to be a mutual agreement. And then sometimes when it's toxic, I'll blame you, you blame me. Oh, you did this, all you. It's a pointing finger thing. You know what I'm saying? If somebody thinks, oh, you got more bad than I got, so you're gonna have to do all this, they expect that person to take ownership of fixing the entire relationship. Like they don't have responsibility. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's you. You did this, so you
me. My bad, y'all. My bad. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
You're good.
My bad.
I'm trying to figure out, Dron, how you make new memories when you got to look at that all day. You know what I'm saying? How you make new memories? You constantly remind. Every day you're constantly reminded.
You got to remind it of the past.
The other past.
Oh my God. I can't.
You made me sick. You know that.
Okay.
But no, that's real though. What Lynn said though, that's real. You know, Lynn hit the nail on the head. That is absolutely right.
Yeah, it has to be a mutual agreement. Like both of us have the same amount of power and time to make this work. You're not better than me. I'm not better than you. Let's level. Let's start from the bottom all the way over again. We've been here. Let's start from the bottom and let's see if we can build up what we got. Because it's possible. I mean, it definitely is possible. But
that's true.
But longevity does not mean I have to be miserable. Just because
man.
We got this, we got longevity, but that doesn't mean I'm about to sit here and be miserable. No, I'm not. So if my peace is at stake, if my peace, my mental health is at stake,
exactly.
Bro, you gotta go.
It's not worth it.
Bro, you gotta go. I mean, I understand I love you and all this stuff, and we did all this stuff together. But if my mental health is at stake, if
so true.
My welfare is about to be broken and stuff, I gotta do what I gotta do.
I'm a firm believer in you gotta have peace in your house. You when you come home, you're supposed to be at your most peaceful. That's the most peaceful place. And if it's not that, if outside of your house it's more peaceful than inside of your house,
problems.
It's absolutely not go at that point in time.
Exactly.
One more quick topic, and I understand, how do you heal from a toxic relationship? And the reason why I asked that question is I really never cared about 99% of the relationships that I've been in. So,
that's my brother right there.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like I'm in a position where if it wasn't working, I'll holler at you. You know what I'm saying? So,
or
how did you? First, I know you need. Or where you think we found you at? On the stroll, ain't it? But anyway.
Right.
Oh my God.
How do you heal from that? How do you get to your next relationship and not think that the next person is going to do the same way, or not continue those same bad traits that you had with the last relationship? How do you trust somebody new after dealing with somebody toxic?
I like to start that out, sir. So before moving on to a new relationship, right? Like you said, you got to give yourself time to heal.
Yes.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a self check. Let me check me. Is my attitude out of order? Is the way that I act and the way that I do things, am I out of order? I got to ask myself that, because if the relationship that I was just seeing was toxic, I had something to do with that too. So first I got to take responsibility, take ownership of my flaws. Let me own my shit first. You know what I'm saying? Let me fix me. Let me get me right.
Exactly.
Once I can fix me and get my shit together, I can't put the old person's mistakes on my new boo. You know what I'm saying? Because their mistakes and their actions ain't got nothing to do with my new boo. You know what I'm saying? I can't put that on him like that. That wouldn't be fair to him. That's not fair to our new relationship. You know what I'm saying? I have to first off center me, get me right. That's step one. Step two, give it a chance. Now, one thing that I will look for in a new relationship, I'll look for trends, or what's the word I'm looking for?
A pattern.
Yes.
Yeah.
Patterns. So even though it's a new situation and a totally different person, if some patterns are similar, like for example, an ex that I had a long time ago, I would call him.
Oh my God.
shut your ass up. I would call him, right? I would call him, and it would take him like 6, 7, 8, 9 times for the phone to ring before he answered the phone. I'm like, what you doing? And he would be like, oh yeah, I didn't even hit the phone. My phone was on mute. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm gonna give you that. You know what I'm saying? But it would happen consistently all the time. And that pattern, later on, I figured out that he would be with another woman, and he had to walk away to answer the phone. So I'm not saying that happens with every single man, you know, because some men do have responsibilities and are busy all the time, and you have to respect that. But it's a pattern. It's red flags that you pay attention to
all the time.
Ladies, anybody watching, men too, don't ignore the red flags.
Also, Chad, you got to think about this too. When Lynn called all those times, he just didn't want to talk to her. It wasn't the fact that it was somebody else. She lying.
Oh my God.
It was nobody else. He just.
They want to talk, boo. Okay, they want to talk.
I also got, and YouTube also, the chat also got to understand, this is back when they had landlines. So Lynn was calling the house. So
Right.
He wasn't home.
Yeah, see, that was when you had to call the operator. You know what I'm saying? The access. That's how long.
Y'all stupid.
Anyway, but you know, y'all get what I said. I mean to take out all the time just now, but you know, that's just
no, it's good to go.
Explain yourself.
Absolutely. Charmaine, what do you think?
Just to piggyback on, on what Lynn said, definitely take time out for yourself to reflect. And then, are we talking about how you say healing from a toxic relationship?
Absolutely.
Of course, because, I do believe we attract who we are, internally. So obviously there was something there that you had a toxic, whatever going on internally for you to attract that person. And that turned into a toxic relationship. So I do believe you attract who you are. And, you just have to take the time out to grow, reflect. I definitely believe taking time out, not rushing into getting into another, meeting a new boo, another situation, and trying to make sure you get that into perspective before you move on. So you won't be bringing the past into the future.
Go ahead now. Sure.
Yeah, you can't drive the car looking backwards.
Come on.
So
That's
you
why
can
that's
only
why the windshield is bigger and the
exactly the rear
view
is
is smaller.
smaller.
That's absolutely
So
right.
just look, yeah.
That's absolutely right. All right, some final thoughts here. Jerron, do you have any final thoughts on the situation?
Yeah, man. I think that what you should do is after a toxic relationship, like back off what the two girls said. Two ladies said you have to take time for yourself. That's the biggest mistake that I made. I'd never done that. I haven't been like single since 2012, 2013. After a
Wow.
relationship, I would always go to the next girl, go to the next girl, go to the next girl, thinking, well, this is what you gotta do to move on. And I should have stopped and taken the time for myself and get to know myself more. Because when you get to know yourself more, you can say, okay, well, I didn't know that. Okay, wow, I do this. Okay, let me not do this in the next one. Let me not act like this in the next one. Let me not do this in the next one. And and you just gotta just like, other than take time for yourself, don't worry about the next relationship. When you're spending time for yourself and doing for yourself, that, I know it's the old cliche, but you'll be so involved in yourself, you'll become so much better. And then you will tolerate next time. So I'm not going to tolerate this type of mess. I'm not going to deal with this type of mess again. That way you're not, because when you don't, and when you do what I did, you expose yourself to any and everything.
Right.
And you're willing to take any and everything.
That's so true.
You got to have a point up to a certain, for one, you got to have up to a certain standard, and that's not an arrogant thing. But women have standards. You know, guys got to have a certain way about yourself to know what you're not going to tolerate and will tolerate. And you got to understand it's life. Like relationships, all relationships aren't going to last forever. It's life. You got to get the mindset. It is what it is. I will bounce back. I remember my grandma told me a long time ago. She said, I understand this girl love you and whatever, in the relationship didn't work out, it's going to be all right because the next one will. You will find something else eventually. You know, you got to keep pushing. You know, that's life. It happens. It roll off your back. It's like losing a job. You know, you'll find another one eventually. You got to get out there and keep putting the work in. So the biggest thing is to take time for yourself, to get to know yourself, and to understand what the next person, like Lynn said, that's not what that person does. I think a lot of times we go around with this idea of, okay, you meet somebody new. Like I go back to what I said earlier, you checking off every little thing because you got to make sure this is not like the last person. I remember my homeboy did that. My homeboy got with it, and I'm not trying to take it too long. My homeboy got with this girl, and immediately he was telling me, oh man, she's not like the last chick. She's not like the last chick. He was so concerned about the last chick that the new chick left his ass because he was so concerned with how she's not like the last chick. And I told him, I said, dude, stop talking about the last chick. This new chick is not like the last chick. Right. Get over it. Move on. and stop doing it.
Well, that's all the time that we have today. But before we leave, I've never had a toxic relationship before. But I have had a toxic friendship before. And I would like everybody here.
What happened?
You what now?
What happened with the camera? I can't.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a look at my toxic friend. So I just want everybody to know I've never had a toxic relationship. This right here has been a pain in my ass.
That's good.
So on that note, we'll see y'all on episode 2.
All right.
All right.